Good evening. Ambulance crews in Greater Manchester are set to escalate their action from midnight against the wishes of national leaders. They have this evening asked the crews to defer the action until a meeting in the new year, but NUPE officials in Manchester say it's too late to stop it. The escalation will include a ban on the use of radios. Police are now on standby. A third member of a Liverpool family has died after a fire at their home earlier this week. Lawrence Scroyers died this afternoon, 2 days after the fire at their Anfield home claimed the lives of his wife Christina and daughter Paula. Their twin daughters are in a critical condition in Alderhay Hospital, and 3-year-old Lawrence is said to be stable but critical. Allerdale councillors in Cumbria are being asked to reconsider plans to build an old people's home on an industrial estate. Residents say the nursing home, which will create 100 jobs and be sited in an enterprise zone in Flimby, would be inappropriate for elderly residents. The matter will come before the full council in 9 weeks' time. The former Manchester City manager Mel Machin has been appointed manager of 2nd Division Yorkshire club Barnsley. Machin was sacked by City 5 weeks ago as the club struggled at the bottom of the 1st Division. Still with football, the Barclays League Division 4, one result tonight, Stockport County 3, Cambridge United 1. And finally, Mongie the Alsatian Cross from Merseyside has avoided the doghouse after trotting home with his latest find, a World War II grenade. His owner, Frank Hewitt, who's a war veteran, recognised it, and soon the area was sealed off, while the grenade was made safe. Oh, clever dog. Now, that's the last of our evening news bulletins for 1989, so we wish you a very, very happy new year from everybody here. And don't forget, if you have views on the news, you can ring the Phillips phone in this evening, as ever, on 0345 056 567. It's on these 4 local radio stations.
Good evening to you on what's been a cold and rather cloudy sort of day across much of the country. In fact, up in Derbyshire at Buxton, the temperature didn't manage to struggle above 2 degrees all day. And it's this high pressure area over here that's responsible. It's dragging in some very cold and cloudy weather off the continent. There are weather fronts about. There's one just out to the west of Ireland at the moment. That'll continue to make some eastward progress overnight, coming in across parts of Northern Ireland, northwest Scotland, before eventually just beginning to wiggle its way out of the way towards the north once more tomorrow. A lot of cloud though around tonight, and that does mean there'll be perhaps a few patches of mist and fog around, notably in the south, up over the higher ground at first, and over the higher ground in the east we could well see some patchy drizzle as well. A lot of cloud. What breaks there are in the cloud now in western areas just beginning to fill in a little bit, and during the night we'll see some rain pushing in from the west into western parts of mainland Scotland, as well as the outer and inner Hebrides, and the western side of Northern Ireland just coming into the rain too. But what cloud there is could just be a little bit problematical. If it tends to just come and go for a short time, it could easily drop into some fog. That fog could be quite short-lived, clearing up again as soon as the cloud returns. And the same's true too of the frost tonight. It's going to be patchy really. I think up in the Great Glen of Scotland dropping down to around -2, but in other areas staying around 1 or 2 degrees above freezing, though there'll always of course be the odd spot that drops down to 0. Well, the wind's still quite strong up in the Western Isles at the moment, but as we go through the night, so you can see those wind arrows diminishing and decreasing, so becoming moderating the winds there, but still quite strong up in the far northeast of Scotland later on tomorrow. That's why we're still going to have most of the rain in that northwest corner, though eventually it'll begin to push its way back out towards the Atlantic again. A good deal of cloud, and as today, some of the best of the sunshine just in these sheltered western areas, but always rather misty in many eastern points. And temperatures not far from around 5 degrees Celsius wherever you are. Some of the warmest weather, in fact, right up here out on the Western Isles there. The New Year's weather maps, not too different really. It should be a dry night wherever you are if you're seeing the New Year in out of doors. By New Year's Day, though, we will begin to see a belt of cloud and rain pushing its way in from the west, just preceded by a little bit of sleet and snow over the highest ground at first, before we finally see a change to rather more showery weather. That's it from me. Let me wish you a Happy New Year.
Entertainment for Saturday night on 1 starts with Bob's Full House at 5:20. Then at 6 o'clock, The Flying Doctors Are Needed in Cooper's Crossing.
That's what you're saying, isn't it? She could just turn her face to the wall, die.
At 6:45, a festive edition of That's Show Business.
BBC have spared no expense at all to add to the festive jollities.
And if your jollities are beginning to flag, Les Dawson will make Saturday go with a bang. At 7:20. At 8 o'clock, Michael J. Fox is Teen Wolf.
Whatever it is, son, you can tell me. I'll understand.
No, Dad. No.
At 9:45, a murderous midnight caller greets the return of Jack Killian.
Wait a minute. What's the point? What are you trying to prove?
You're not as smart as you sound, Jack. You're the point. Think on it.
Entertainment for Saturday night on BBC One.
In our film, in 50 minutes, Sylvester Stallone recreates the character of rags to riches boxer Rocky Balboa, who climbs back into the ring for another tilt at the world champion in Rocky II. First on One, we join Jasper Carrot, and that's after the break.